One of the main selling points of early Shippuden was the threat of Orochimaru finally taking possession of Sasuke's body. Orochimaru in possession of the Sharingan was a big enough threat that even the Akatsuki seemed worried about this possibility. As we all know, after nearly 3 years of playing hide the snake with Sasuke, Orochimaru tried to take over Sasuke's body and was unsuccessful in his attempt. However, what if this never happened? What if Orochimaru was indeed successful in his attempt to take Sasuke's body? How would the Naruto story change? Would it be for better or would it be for worse? Going back to the Naruto manga, there are 4 times in which Orochimaru could have taken Sasuke's body, and I'll list them all from most likely to least. First, when the Sound 4 attacked Sasuke and gave him time to leave the village of his own accord. The second time is when they tried to take Sasuke to Orochimaru, but were stopped by the Konoha ninja led by Shikamaru. The third time is when Sasuke attacked a weakened Orochimaru after the time skip, and finally, when Orochimaru emerged from Sasuke's curse mark during his battle with Itachi. For this video, I'm going to be going with scenario 1. If we go back to chapters 178 and 179, there is a really good opportunity for the story to change. Originally, Kakashi left Sasuke, and the Sound 4 changed their plans to approach Sasuke until nightfall to ensure that Sasuke was alone. In chapter 179, after Sasuke is soundly defeated, he gets told that the Sound 4 could force him to go with them, but Orochimaru wanted Sasuke to come of his own accord. Now, this is where 2 things would occur. First, the Sound 4 could simply take Sasuke with them to Orochimaru. After all, Sasuke was no match for them at this point in the manga. Second, instead of leaving, the Sound 4 could simply wait for Sasuke's answer. If you look at the manga, immediately after hearing Itachi's name, Sasuke's eyes flare up and he crushes the leaf that's in his hand, which is both symbolic and more than enough proof that he's made his mind up. In my opinion, it's the second scenario that would be the most likely. After Sasuke agrees to leave, a lot of things would change in the story. The events of chapter 181 would never have occurred. Sasuke wouldn't have gone back to his house to pack his things, which means that he would never have run into Sakura. No chance meeting between the 2 of them means that the Hidden Leaf Village doesn't learn about Sasuke leaving the village nearly as fast as they did originally. Right after she woke up, Sakura told Izumo and Katetsu that Sasuke left the village, and the 2 Chunin both alerted Tsunade. In this scenario, this would never have occurred. Due to Sasuke being in the hospital just the day before, when he fought Naruto and then the Sound 4 at night, it remains highly unlikely that Team 7 had any team-related activities planned. Sasuke hadn't been formally discharged from the hospital, and Kakashi had already left for a mission after he spoke to Sasuke. Naruto was still asleep when Shikamaru alerted him that Sasuke had left the village, which means that it's even more likely there were no plans for Team 7 to meet that day. Sakura could very well go to Sasuke's house, but after seeing that he isn't there, her mind wouldn't immediately jump to Sasuke leaving the village, and even if it did so, it's likely that she looks around the village before telling Naruto that Sasuke has left. By the time the 2 of them go to Tsunade with the news they can't find Sasuke, several hours would have passed. I have no doubt that at this point, Tsunade wouldn't have jumped to the conclusion that Sasuke left to join Orochimaru. I do believe she would summon Shikamaru and give him the same 30-minute timeline to a similar team of Genin, with Naruto being her only mandatory addition. However, given the immense head start and the fact that the Sound 4 wouldn't have been slowed down by the encounters with Team Shikamaru, the events of chapter 198 wouldn't have occurred. It's in this chapter that Orochimaru's host body had begun to reject him. According to the chapter, Kabuto states that the 3rd Hokage's jutsu was stronger than either of them expected, and he implores Orochimaru to take another body as soon as possible. It's also here that Kabuto decides to dispatch Kimimaro to help bring back Sasuke. In this scenario, the Sound 4 would be able to bring Sasuke to Orochimaru much sooner before this scene unfolds. Sasuke leaving with them instead of lingering around the village for an unspecified amount of time to gather his things, collect his thoughts, and then speak with Sakura before leaving changes everything. Sasuke will be brought to Orochimaru in enough time that Kabuto doesn't have to force the prisoners to fight to the death. Also, Orochimaru can get a new body. Sasuke would stand before Orochimaru, who would tell him the same thing he told the prisoner whose body he took over in chapter 199. Orochimaru would tell Sasuke he'll grant him any one wish in exchange for his body, and that Sasuke's strong intentions would linger inside Orochimaru's subconsciousness while he was in control of his body. We know from chapter 218 that Sasuke was indeed willing to give Orochimaru his body if it came in exchange for seeing Itachi die. It would be here fear that Orochimaru would grant Sasuke his wish, vowing to take Itachi's life in exchange for Sasuke's body. While originally Sasuke did betray Orochimaru in chapter 343, in the following chapter, Sasuke openly admits that when he first joined Orochimaru, he did it because he was weak at the time and willing, but after years of training, he saw no point in giving his body up to someone that he viewed to be an inferior ninja to him. Given all this information, Orochimaru would take Sasuke's body without any resistance. Where things get really tricky is the Sasuke retrieval team. A strong case can be made that they would eventually lose the scent of the sound, for Shikamaru would never experience the pain of nearly losing teammates and would take much longer to grasp the weight and burden that comes with being a team leader, because it's in the end of the story arc that was monumental for his character development. The same can be said for the other members of his team, who each vowed to get stronger after their encounters with the Sound Ninja. This would mean that the events in chapter 238 would still unfold as they did when the Akatsuki met to discuss Orochimaru now having Sasuke. For this video, I'm going to disregard the filler scene that the anime added to this and focus solely on the manga version. In the manga, Pain basically agrees with Deidara that dealing with Orochimaru should come after their main objective of collecting the tailed beast. In this meeting, Itachi remains silent. There's no confirmation as to if they knew Orochimaru hadn't taken Sasuke's body yet, which is why Itachi likely remained silent. In this scenario, the Akatsuki would still prioritize the collection of the Jinchuriki over hunting down Orochimaru, who could be dealt with later. Itachi would be placed in a bind here. Itachi cannot blow his cover for the Akatsuki, but he can't just go after Sasuke either. Itachi loved his brother, but he also viewed himself as a ninja of Konoha. After the Akatsuki captured the two Jinchuriki during the time skip, which forced them to come to the conclusion that the Jinchuriki needed to be sealed away in order, which left the Kyuubi for the last to be sealed. It's possible that Itachi uses the time skip to seek information as to whether or not Orochimaru took Sasuke's body, but there's no guarantee that Itachi learns where they are. In chapter 290, Kabuto states that Orochimaru has several hideouts in each country in the Naruto world, and that he switches hideouts on a weekly basis to avoid detection. This makes it hard for Itachi to seek confirmation as to Sasuke's fate. This brings us to the big elephant in the room, Orochimaru's 3-year time limit in a body. This is really tricky when you look at it. The manga does state that there is a 3-year limit, but a very close read of the manga proves that there is an exception to this rule. Orochimaru originally intended to have Kimimura's body, but then, as we know, he got sick. Kimimura and Sasuke are the only two who are referred to as containers that are being specifically prepared for by Orochimaru so he can use their bodies as a vessel. The second data book goes further when you add the entry for the jutsu to this comparison. If this is the case, then he can stay in that body for a much longer time, possibly even a lifetime. But on the other hand, it isn't concretely stated in the manga, instead it's only implied. It's for this reason I'm going to stick to the 3-year time period for the jutsu. Given that Orochimaru has experimented with cloning by this point, I do believe having an Uchiha body would be all the reason he needs to make clones of Sasuke's body, which would allow him to switch from body to body as the 3-year interval occurs. Orochimaru is not only a genius, but he's someone who intensely studied the Uchiha body. In chapter 560, Kabuto reveals that he and Orochimaru were able to decipher parts of the Uchiha tablet despite not having Sharingan, and come to their own conclusion that the Sharingan can evolve into the rinnegan under the right scenario. We know during Orochimaru's time as one of Danzo's root ninja that he created Danzo's Sharingan arm. Given Orochimaru likely has some leftover Senju DNA, it's possible that he conducts numerous experiments to recreate the rinnegan. This becomes even more likely when you consider the fact that Orochimaru stated in chapter 199 when he confirmed that part of the soul of whoever's body he took still remains inside of him, which means that part of Indra's chakra would be inside of Orochimaru via the link to Sasuke's soul. This does make it possible for Orochimaru to eventually unlock the Rinnegan. Switching gears and looking at the Konoha ninja, things get really tricky. Jiraiya would still likely take Naruto to train since he knew the the Akatsuki were after Naruto, Naruto would be even more motivated to get stronger now, since it would be known that Sasuke's body has become Orochimaru's new vessel. I don't think Naruto will be able to master the Kyuubi during his training with Jiraiya, which we know Jiraiya did try to have him do, but I do think he would learn more than just the giant rinnegan. Sakura is where things get really interesting. Sakura very likely does not train under Tsunade. In the chapter for the Naruto manga, chapter 236, Sakura sees how badly Naruto is injured from his fight with Sasuke and thinks to herself that she couldn't do anything in that scenario except for cry. In the next page, she vows to help Naruto the next time he sees Sasuke. Literally, in the next 5 panels, she goes to Tsunade and begs her to train her. Kishimoto made it perfectly clear her reason for approaching Tsunade was linked to what happened after the Naruto vs Sasuke fight. While Sakura did express a desire to get stronger on 2 occasions during the Chunin exams, she never made the connection to learning medical ninjutsu until after she saw how badly Naruto was beat up. It's for this reason I believe that Sakura would instead train under Kakashi to get stronger and possibly train under Kurenai to hone her natural genjutsu skills, since it was stated by Kakashi and others that she had a natural affinity for genjutsu. While it is possible that Orochimaru does attempt another invasion on the Hidden Leaf Village now that he has Sasuke's body, I don't think that he does so until after the time skip. Orochimaru will want to draw out the maximum power of Sasuke's body, both to ensure he can defeat Itachi and crush Konoha. By the time the time skip occurs, Naruto would return to the village stronger than he did originally. Sakura, in this scenario, wouldn't be a medical ninja, but her chakra control, which was praised by several characters like Kakashi and Ebisu, would make her genjutsu skill a huge asset in battle. Naruto and Sakura would pass the bell test with ease before being dispatched for the Kazekage rescue mission. Sakura, not knowing medical ninjutsu means that Kankuro would die. Whatever medic is sent to accompany Team 7 wouldn't be as skilled as Sakura, which means the poison would never be removed successfully and no antidote would be made. This becomes key when the battle against Data and Sasori begins. No antidote means that whoever fights alongside Chiyo in the scenario would die. Despite Sakura having greater combat skills and increased genjutsu ability to work as a support ninja for Chiyo, similar to how Kurenai helped Asuma fight Itachi and Kisame, the battle would be short-lived. Sasori would eventually bring out the 3rd Kazekage puppet and kill Sakura, Chiyo, and the unknown medic ninja. This also means that after Deidara barely escapes after his encounter with Naruto, Kakashi, and Team Guy, this would mean that Chiyo will be dead, which means that there will be no jutsu to bring Gaara back to life, meaning that Gaara as Kazekage would be dead. Due to Orochimaru having a small part of Sasuke's soul inside of him, he would need to fulfill Sasuke's wish of killing Itachi in exchange for his body. Orochimaru will likely do this by hunting down the Akatsuki members. This means that he likely uses Kabuto to set up a meeting with Sasori, who still thinks Kabuto is his spy. Orochimaru would arrive at the meeting and confirm that he is indeed in possession of Sasuke's body. Given the Akatsuki move in pairs, Sasori would likely be accompanied by Deidara. This would lead to an epic showdown between the 4 of them. It is worth noting that the Mangekyo Sharingan requires intense emotional trauma, which has often been triggered by a close death of a loved one. I don't think that Orochimaru would be awakening the Mangekyo anytime during the time skip, since Orochimaru doesn't have anyone close enough to him to trigger that emotion, and part of Sasuke's soul doesn't have the experience of that pain yet, unless you think that Orochimaru can use Sasuke's memories of losing his parents as a way to do so. Regardless, I believe with very high difficulty, Orochimaru would survive the fight. At this point, Zetsu would confirm to the Akatsuki that Orochimaru does have Sasuke's body and is responsible for killing 2 of their members. In chapter 353, Pain did take enough notice of Sasuke's team that he told the Akatsuki, in particular Itachi and Kisame, to be on guard. And that's where we're going to bring an end to part 1 of What If Orochimaru took Sasuke Uchiha's body. If you guys want to see part 2, make sure you check the channel tomorrow, and I'll have part 2 uploaded on the channel as well. But let me know what you guys guys think so far about the scenario. Let me know what you guys think in particular would have happened with Sakura. I know somebody's probably happy that Sakura probably ended up getting killed in this What If, but the other part of this is I feel like Sakura's character can go either way. You know, there's a lot of evidence that suggests that yes, Sakura wanted to train and get better, but she didn't necessarily show any interest in medical ninjutsu until Tsunade came back. And yet at the same time, there is also a bit of an argument that can be made that Sakura, because all of her genjutsu training was off screen, we don't know whether or not Sakura had already reached that potential. I would argue no, given what we saw in Naruto the Last, where she broke out of Taneri's genjutsu lake. But what I will say is that it can go either way in my opinion, so I'm very curious to know if you guys think that she doesn't learn medical ninjutsu. If she does, then that changes everything for the better. So let me know what you guys know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.